YouTube channel. My name is Barry. Today we're watching Too Fancy, Too Furious Wine. I have watched a lot of internet historian videos. I like them a lot. And I don't really know a lot about wine. I really want to be more sophisticated. And maybe after this, we can have a wine tasting. That would be awesome. Wow, this is distinguished
Come here,
already.
little fella. I want to tell you a secret. I'm just like you.
No way! You're a
We're
VTuber?
both down
Kind
here
of, I
in
guess.
the dirt.
Oh.
Mine just happens to be imported. You are fighting in traffic.
Is that Houston?
And I am fighting charges of trafficking. We're so similar. You're working a 9-to-5 job, and I am having to look at that. We're both going through it. So don't hate me. I'm not the problem. It's the wine snobs. They're the ones
Twilight?
that look down on you.
Yeah, you know what?
And
They probably
frankly,
do.
I don't blame him. No, he's learning. Listen, let me pull you up by your bootstraps.
Thank you, thank you.
What if I made you my little Pygmalion?
What is that?
That's a reference that you wouldn't get. You know what? Perhaps I shall make a series of videos that will give you some sort of clue about fancy things.
Oh,
Yes,
like
that's-
cigars! I've mentioned this before. For a long time, I thought after you were done smoking a cigar, you were supposed to eat it. I thought it was like an included snack, but it's not. It is not a snack. Oh, wait.
That's what I'll do. Something to give you just enough information to bluff your way through a fancy dinner.
Did you know that Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa?
Somebody had to hold open the gates for the barbarians. Why not me? So let's do it. Let's look at wine. The Mountain Dew
I like the
of
wine.
upper society.
Why is it so
With
green?
wine, there is only one rule. Kill or be killed.
Is that aggressive?
And if you want to survive the night, here are 6 things you should know about wine. To you muggles, the words on these bottles must seem like a mystery.
Pie, not no ire?
Oh, wait, I know that one, I know that one. Pinot Noir. See, I worked at a steakhouse. I got that part. And I didn't really know how to serve wine very well, so what I would do is I would pay somebody $2 to do it for me.
As landlords, we, the pink Himalayan salt.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought this was Expedition 33. I don't know what game this is. I think I'm just Expedition brand.
Of the earth.
Oh, it's
We
Hitman.
know what they mean.
I just saw
They are
suit. I made him wear
great
the suit the whole
names.
time.
Look upon this grapevine. It makes grape berries.
Oh, berries!
Now, there are many different species of grape berry.
Okay.
And whatever the berry species is will determine the type of wine. This is Chardonnay, so it will make Chardonnay.
Wait, that's what they're named out of the grapes? I literally thought that they just made it up and then everybody just started saying the same words. I did not know it was the breed of grapes at all.
Merlot grapes, they make Merlot wine. Grape names are mostly French. Gross. But for example, in English, Pinot Noir means black pine.
Oh, I don't speak
Kinda
French.
looks like a black pine cone. If
I mean, I guess I do speak French. I say like part of my French, sorry.
you squint. Here's some of the other names. You can pause it. I'm busy. Wine grapes are not like the kind you get at the supermarket. Those are table grapes.
They're
You
different?
can think of it kind of like the difference between cooking chocolate and regular chocolate.
Oh.
You can eat them. Ugh. But they're overly sugary and kind of full of seeds and just not as nice to snack on. So the grape type is the main word on the bottle. But sometimes there are other words as well. For example, this Bourgogne.
Bourgogne.
What the hell is a Chablis? It's all regions.
Oh, it's where
Allow
they're
me
from.
to explain through the medium of song.
Oh!
There's Chianti and Piedmont, also there's Burgundy. Don't forget Chablis Bordeaux. This one's from Italy, this one's from Italy, this one's from France, this one's from France, this one's from France, this one's from France. They're all from France.
They're all from
Wherever.
France.
Look, the general rule is, if
Wait, yeah, isn't that from animatics. I remember my friend used to like to watch that whenever I would go over to her house, and in the morning we would eat kolaches and donuts and watch that.
If you see a term you don't understand,
Animaniacs.
it's probably just the
It's the
French
little
or the
guys.
Italians being all la-dee-da about their particular region. All right, let's move on to price. Come on, I know a place. We're here.
Fancy!
I can tell by the name on the sign. Now, don't embarrass me, I didn't bring my ID.
Okay.
Fiddle-tee-dee, look at all these bottles. So many options. Ooh, a cheeky $200 bottle. And here, a $20 bottle. Now, I bet this $200 bottle tastes way better, right? Like it's got to be 10 times better than
It
this
has to
one.
be.
That's just basic math. Go on, though. You choose one. Oh, no. Well, it was supposed to be a trick question, but they both
Now
taste
they're mixing
pretty
in my
similar,
belly.
right? There's not some threshold that you get to where it gets more expensive and then it tastes better, and then
Really?
more expensive again and it tastes even better.
So it's just a flex. Like, basically, you just buy like a $1,000 bottle of wine on a date so that way your date thinks you're rich. It's just flexing. Interesting. I didn't know that. I thought that maybe it eventually got better, but I just grew up poor, so I was drinking like grape juice. I didn't know that.
Until it gets so expensive and so incredible that it's like nothing you've ever had before. Break through the conditioning. This is just old grape juice.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a little bi-curious
Okay,
about
I
a more
am.
expensive bottle, sure, why not?
Gold letters grace the label, hand engraved by goldsmiths. Famed
Whoa.
wine critic described the taste as mind-boggling.
But realistically,
boggle.
after about $60, the flavor doesn't get much better. In fact, it plateaus out and it can even go down.
Really?
The
It's
best
just
quality
moldy?
to price ratio is all the way over here, much lower, about
Oh.
$20 bucks.
That's it?
That's how much you should spend on a bottle of wine. Now, some people will say,
that I'm putting my heart and soul into this thing. I'm making an art, a form of art. How much is that worth? How much is art worth?
about $20 bucks.
Yeah.
But what about the Vintage? Well, look at this. A couple of cromulent slender necks.
Oh, Malbec,
And they're
Malbec,
the same
Malbec,
price
Malbec.
as well. But this one is from 2019, and this one is from 2022. Well, surely the older one is the better one.
Yeah, I want to eat mold.
Right? No. Many people think that wine aging goes like this, and the flavor just keeps getting better over time.
I mean, kind of Stardew Valley approach. And the other thing I did want to say is I don't know a lot about wine because when I worked at the steakhouse that I worked at, it always felt like a ripoff. Basically, if a bottle of wine at the restaurant is like $100 bucks, it's probably worth in real life like 20, maybe 15. They rip you off so hard with wine bottle purchases at steakhouses.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. The wine at the store has already been aged at the winery. I don't need to be more aged by sitting on this shelf and just collecting dust, or spending years at the back of your pantry at home. If I'm for sale, I'm ready to be consumed. I'm ready to have your hot lips wrapped around. In fact, the general rule goes a corked bottle should be drunk within 5 years, and a capped bottle within 1 year.
Really? That's pretty
Come,
short.
there's more. Let's pretend I am a waiter at a restaurant.
Hi.
You happen to be wearing a shirt, and so I have mistaken you as a paying customer. As a waiter, the first thing I will press you about will be food pairings.
Oh,
White wine with-
yeah, white wine and fish, and then like red wine and steak. But honestly, I kind of just liked white wine because it's more sweet and more fun, and like when you drink, you go. I've been trying to understand the appeal of red wine because it does come off a little bit more classy, but also I don't like coffee either. I think I'm just kind of like, my palate is adjusted to mac and cheese, SpaghettiOs, maybe like a Yoo-hoo every now and then. I might not be good enough for this kind of thing.
With fish? A Merlot with pork? Well, kid, I'm gonna have to pair this truth nugget with something you don't want to hear.
Ranch!
The food pairing doesn't really matter. It's all completely subjective.
Really?
It's cuisine by horoscope. It's food astrology. Pay no attention to the sommeliers in the comment section. They are bullshitting to upsell.
Get the more expensive one. It goes better with the spaghetti.
Or they are a Pisces and you shouldn't trust their opinion anyway.
Thank God. I don't know anything about astrology, but I am... Look, now all the astrology people in chat. I'm a Gemini, and we get a lot of crap for that, okay? People hear I'm a Gemini, and they throw their hands up, and they scream, and they run away, and they call me a two-faced biatch. I don't even know why. I literally do not know what that means at all.
Something else to expect at a restaurant? Expect to get ripped off by the markup.
True, I just said that.
Most restaurants add a 250 to 300% markup on their wine.
Yep.
And the cheaper the bottle, the higher the proportional markup tends to be. So a $20 bottle will turn into an $80 bottle, but a $100 bottle may only rise to $150. Most people get the second cheapest bottle on the menu, regardless of the pairing, and
honestly, anytime I go out and if I want to get a drink, I either get Well, which is like their cheapest, or like if I want a glass of wine, I'll just pick the cheapest glass of wine. I don't know. I think I just grew up that way. Even like when my parents would take me out, I would always try to find like one of the cheaper options instead of getting something crazy.
And that'll do just fine. And that's it. No more tips. Unless you want to leave me one. Actually, you know what? I got a fucking tip for you, mate. Ad time. I bet you're wondering how I got this cog in my knee.
Stupid.
That's because I became the face of Incogni, the service that helps you be forgotten on the internet.
Yeah!
I used to be a humble florist. One day we received a shipment of forget-me-nots. But inexplicably I fell in and ate a bunch of them. I forgot everything that day.
Oh,
my address,
stupid.
my web browsing habits, where I worked, what my child's face looked like.
Oh my
I was supposed to pick it up from
God.
daycare, so that was kind of embarrassing. I just picked one of the kids that kind of looks like me. Close enough. Have you ever signed up for some dodgy website? Have you ever dodged up for a legitimate
that a
website
crack
and they
pipe?
sell all your details onto a dodgy website? That's where I come in.
I like to imagine he had to send this ad for approval and they just totally missed the pipe in the corner.
Incogni man and Anonyboy. There are data miners out there, data collectors, creating big servers all around the world.
They're
They take your
mining for
name,
me?
your address, and your IP, and together they make a big profile, and that lives forever. I am here to send them annoying legal notices to tell them to fuck off.
Get 'em!
Take Steve off your database. European law this, American law that. Go to incogni.com/internetstory to get 60% off an annual plan. The cog signal.
I like when he
Swoop
laughs,
into
it
the
makes
data
me laugh.
centers. Legal notice.
That's a
Take
lot
over
of
the
dedicated
processes with
wham.
admin. Who are you? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Inganokni Nam. Go to incogni.com/internethistorian.
Okay. I mean, you told me to, I will now.
Incogni man. Remember me?
Hey, I know that
Yeah.
guy. Wait, there's like ongoing lore in the ads.
Who's the kid?
Je suis très affamé, monsieur, s'il vous plaît.
Whoa, that's a good deal. Ad over. Welcome to the Wine Underground.
Yeah, yeah.
We have our meetings here because it stays at a very pleasant temperature.
It's cold in here too. I got an AC
Us
now.
wine masons, we control everything. We are few, but many.
I'm
Doesn't make
scared.
sense. Look at the back of this bottle. See the No Fat Chicks logo?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what that means. That would be horrible. Actually, I don't think there's like any regulation for this kind of stuff in the US, but I think in other countries they have like a scoring system on snacks that show you that they're bad for you. It's kind of like everybody fights for themselves here.
We put that there. It is the symbol of our organization. We have a dirty finger in every glass of government and corporation stuff. If you cross us, oops, perhaps you'll have a little accident. Last year, Little Upstart tried to make wine actually taste good. You know, like how grape soda does.
I've love grape
Cut him up
soda.
so good he had to get stitches. We caught one reporter trying to dig around into our operations. We all know how that one ended.
Ooh, I want to do that.
With an airstrike. All
Oh,
right,
no, I
my little
don't.
juice box. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Why is champagne called champagne?
I like champagne. I think it's really good. My guess? The grape? I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you. It all began in 1668.
What?
In the Abbey of St. Peter in northeast France, there's something spooky going on. It's
War?
springtime, and in the cellar where they keep all the wine, bottles would suddenly, unexpectedly, explode.
No way.
Now, this was especially common during morning mass.
There's demons in the wine cellar. Rebuke! Rebuke! Get away from my wine!
Ho ho, that's a bad omen. Sometimes the explosions would cause little chain reactions, and bottle after bottle would break down the line, ruining the majority of the crop.
What does it say? Parishes were often in charge of producing and storing alcohol for the village, sometimes for ceremonial purposes. I swear to God, I speak English. The Eucharist, but also just as a community thing and as a means of controlling the supply. Oh!
The peasants were frightened and also parched.
Sacre Bleu, lay wine. What is happening?
It sounds like a sim. Sacre bleu.
The monks would refer to this as
Blue
the
guy.
devil's wine.
Lay wine is
Oh.
cursed.
Legod, he must be anger at us. We need a hero.
In walks Dom Perignon.
Wait, he's a real guy? Wait, Dom Perignon is a real person? Oh my God, I thought he was like a fan fiction character.
He is just the man for the job. A Benedictine monk at the abbey. He's got a new role, the cellar master.
What?
And it's his mission to find out what the hell is going on here.
Wait till she hears about Captain Morgan. He was real too? I thought these were like self-insert fan fiction characters. They're real people?
So Dom starts looking at all the bottles. And what he figures out pretty quickly is that the wine itself is releasing gas.
Oh.
The gas builds up pressure, and why that is happening, he doesn't know. But it's his job to stop it. So he gets to work, trying all sorts of things to stop his mortal enemy.
He's using like
The bubbles.
telepathy.
In the first year, he tried insisting that only the youngest grapes be picked.
Perhaps this will stop
Well,
your
that's
bubbles.
weird. Why don't we wait until they're at the grape age of consent, I guess.
And it didn't. The next year, he changed up how the grapes were pressed.
Push harder. We'll squeeze out the bubbles.
Son of a bitch. He tried picking the grapes very early in the morning and no other time. Nope. And on
It
and
still
on.
doesn't matter?
The bubbles would win the battle every year. For 8 long years, he tried all sorts of different things. And no,
I have always wanted to put milk in one of those, but every time I mention putting milk in a carbonator, you guys tell me that's the dumbest thing you can do. And I don't know why, but I think that's also the part of science, right? Like, I have to figure out for myself that that's a dumb idea.
no strategy worked. No, the bubbles.
Eventually,
Eventually, he was at the point of almost giving up. Until one day, hey, what if the wine is still fermenting? So he takes a couple of the bottles and he opens them and, it is. We ferment the wine. Once it's done, it goes into the bottle. How does it then start fermenting again? How is that possible? And here the mystery was solved.
no, wait,
So it
without
turns out,
Scooby-Doo?
in North France, they have very fast changing seasons. And owing to that, the yeast doesn't actually get time to do its job. Instead, it would get cold very quickly in the winter, and all the yeast would go dormant. Then the winemakers would go, oh, brilliant, fermentation slowed down, it must be done.
Oh,
They
it's
would
still
then bottle it,
cooking.
and they would store it. But once summer came back around, the process would spring back to life, and carbon dioxide would build up, and... Okay, he thinks, I cannot change the climate. Perhaps I shall not win the war against the bubbles. Now, the bubbles are his enemy, and he has another enemy.
Oh, who?
The English.
That one might be a little bit more difficult to tackle, but good luck to you.
Therefore, the enemy of his enemy or something. Anyway, he starts talking to the English and he goes, "Hey, how do you guys stop your bottles from exploding?"
He asked?
And the British go,
F you.
What, mate? Core. Well, peep at how thin the bloody glass be in it. Thin glass is the problem.
Oh, it has to be, what do they call it? Damascus, or like folded a bunch of times. That would be cool.
Thank you for using this test-to-speech preview. For a paid version, please go to...
See, the English have created new coal-fired bottles with much thicker glass. Then they put a cork in the top, and it allows them to make very foamy beer. That's right. He could just use thicker bottles, and he won't have to worry about stopping the bubbles at all.
But money,
So Dom
right?
goes running back to France. He's panting, he's sweating, and there's bits of brie on his shirt. He's going,
Ooh, let me get it. I love brie. Brie is awesome.
better bottles, better bottles. Everyone's confused and terrified, but they give it a shot. And there it was. The people of France loved it.
I love this new style.
Even the French royals were enjoying new wine, TM. He even started adding extra yeast and sugar
Chemical
to really
X?
get the bubbles going. And so Dom Perignon had created what we call today champagne.
Wow, I didn't know I still am like so stuck on him being real.
Now, there's a 19th century marketing campaign that says the moment he uncorked his champagne for the first time, he tried it and said, come quickly, I am tasting the stars."
Oh, it is
But
good
that's
though.
actually a myth. He never really said that. There's still a problem. And this one, Dom cannot fix. The pulp.
Ew, wait, pulp and wine? Okay, I'm about to lose like half of you guys. You're all just gonna like rage quit watching, but I like pulp and orange juice. I think it adds like a little something, something. It's like the original boba. I love pulp.
You bottle wine while it's
But not
still
wine, that would
fermenting,
be gross.
so that you can keep the bubbles in. You're also trapping in a bunch of dead yeast and debris and gross particles too. Also, it's all cloudy. No, we want it clear. We want it crystal looking. How will we ever solve this problem?
Eat out all the pulp.
Dies.
Apparently the problem was way too big and the devil had to take him out. Oh my god.
1805. In walks Madame Clicquot. She's just the man for the job.
I'm also French. I have come
French.
to remove all the little bits. I will clench my teeth together and go pitou back into the bottle.
Piton. Is that what they say? I don't know. I learned that from Expedition 33.
Madame Clicquot was a very shrewd lady. Her husband died when she was in her early 20s.
My husband is dead. Lol.
And part of the estate she was bequeathed included a winery.
She was what?
She immediately got to work, making it into a successful business.
I shall invent a process called lay riddling.
Here's what you do,
Riddling.
right? You put these bottles on a rack at a 35-degree angle with the top facing down.
Okay.
Every 2 days, she would give the bottle a little shake and slightly increase the angle.
Whoa.
After 8 to 10 weeks, all of the sediment would come to rest in the neck of the bottle. Right, quick tangent. Did you know that when you increase the salt concentration in water, you can drop its temperature down much lower without it freezing? Tangent over.
Interesting.
So she takes this sub-zero salt water and
Sub-Zero, get over here.
dips the neck of the bottle in there. Then lets it sit until the neck freezes. Now you have a sort of frozen cork filled with all of the gross pulp.
No, they have a rivalry. That's why I said that they hate each other. I said that because they hate each other. Not wrong guy. He was gonna beat his butt. Scorpion was gonna beat his butt. Do you see what I'm saying?
And then
It wasn't a good save. It's real. I promise. It's real.
you simply pop off the top. And the whole thing goes shooting out as a fun prank for your friends and family.
I've never
Then
done
they
that.
add
I
in
get
a
scared.
little more extra base wine and sugar and leave it to age. And with that, Clicquot has just created a clear, sparkling wine.
Look at how
And
beautiful.
that is Ridley. And Madame Clicquot is...
The Riddler.
So Dom Perignon and Madame Clicquot are both credited as the godfather and godmother of champagne.
Whoa.
Today, the Dom and Clique brands are owned by LVMH, the same parent company that owns Louis Vuitton,
They own every rich person activity, or people who like to cosplay as rich people.
Tag Heuer, Tiffany & Co, Hennessy. Actually,
Oh my
pretty much every
God!
luxury brand.
That much? Actual money printer? I'm thinking maybe I just go make a brand and advertise it and then just hope that a couple of people who want to look rich like it.
But why is it called champagne? Well, that's because it comes from the Champagne region, you dummy. And anything else with bubbles is...
This says sparkling wine is the higher order term. Write this down. This is good trivia for your next trivia night. So champagne is a type of sparkling wine. There are many other different types of sparkling wine. Prosecco probably being the most notable, although its production process is different, as instead of being fermented in the bottle, the wine is fermented in highly pressured resistant metal casks. Madame Clicquot, I probably messed it up, also arguably invented rosé. Wait, I like rosé. Also, many of these first champagnes were made using red wine grapes. Interesting.
It's just sparkling wine.
Interesting. I like sparkling anything. I love bubbles.
Oh, it's you.
Me?
I was just looking out over the sunset.
Yeah, me too.
You know how it is. Thinking about stuff that happened in the past.
Oh, I hate when that happens. When you're just like laying in bed at night, ready. You're all tucked in. Me. What did I do in 5th grade?
I remember it all too well.
Yeah.
It was literally 1984. I was walking home with my parents from the opera.
No, Batman, please!
Hey, let's take a little shortcut, they said.
No!
We were walking down a well-lit alleyway. It was nothing but quaint restaurants and bistros.
Uh-oh.
Then suddenly, a man holding a bottle of Shiraz came out of nowhere. Just a tipple, he said.
Not even once. Not even once.
I was terrified. I knew nothing about wine. Go on, he said. My hands were shaking, knees weak, arms heavy. Complex aroma, wouldn't you say? Ooh, very good tannins. Oh, really? Yep. What's a tannin?
That's the dry stuff?
No. My parents died from embarrassment right there on the spot.
Sorry, Daddy.
Just a tipple. It's too late for me, but I don't want the same thing to happen to you.
Thank you.
That's why we have to learn about how to serve wine.
Yay! Like I said, we had tableside wine presentations where I worked, and I hated doing them because I was really bad at like taking the cork off, because basically you kind of get one shot, right? Like you can break the cork in half and then everybody stares at you like you're the biggest idiot in the world. So I would give somebody $2 to do it for me. And then you have to like pour it in the glass, and the person trying it has to be like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then you pour them the whole glass.
So you've bought a bottle of wine to show your friends and family how successful and sophisticated you are.
It's a flex.
Did you know that Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa? So let's go through how to serve the big three. White, red, and champagne. Let's say you've bought champagne.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna hit him in the balls.
That bottle goes in the fridge. Champagne is served cold always. To open, peel off the foil and do not aim it at your face. Then twist off the metal thing. If you want people to think you're fancy, use the proper word, muselette.
Muselette. I've never heard that. I just called it like the cage. It's like the chastity belt of the wine bottle.
It helps to contain the pressure. Again, don't aim this thing at your face. It's really worth repeating. The PSI inside a champagne bottle is 70 to 90. That puts
More measurements. On average, champagne has a pressure of about 5.5 to 6 bar. If you were scuba diving and the equivalent pressure servicing would give you the bends. Oh, I didn't know that. What is it called whenever there's like a hole in something and then you're like diving and it like sucks you in? I got this. Delta P.
puts it in the same league as a nail gun. So the cork comes out at about 50 miles an hour. And if you're in a house, you want to hold onto it very firmly with your hand. If you're Bezos, or you just won the Grand Prix, fling it over some ladies.
Woohoo!
But if you want to be really fancy, you can use a sword. Think.
Whoa!
This has been a tradition for a couple hundred years, popularized by Napoleon.
They didn't let us do
After
that.
each victory, the army would use their sabers to crack one open for the boys. But the sword's just ceremonial. You can use pretty much any blunt object to knock off the top.
iPhone?
A phone. A shoe. This fish head. If it's cold, it shouldn't fizz over too much, but you might want to have someone on the side with a ready glass.
Ooh, yeah,
The
or open
glass
their
type
mouth.
should either be a tulip or a flute. Although, if you've seen The Great Gatsby, you may notice that they use these. Up until the mid-1900s, people used coupes. That's because, back in the day, excessive effervescence wasn't very cool. So these cups helped actually dispel the bubbles faster.
Oh,
In fact,
they're not
sometimes
burping.
they'd even use a small whisk or a fork to dissipate all the bubbles.
Huh.
Now, there's actually an old myth that the shape and size of the coupe was molded from one of Marie Antoinette's bubo.
What? No way. How long until a VTuber makes their own booba glass? This is probably coming way sooner than you anticipate.
But it's probably not true.
Now, if that was made from Guinevere...
Eventually, bubbles became a fancy feature, so the flute was adopted. They can be made from glass, but preferably they're made from crystal, so that they shimmer as much as possible. And the best flutes would also feature a small rough spot right there at the center of the glass at the bottom to create a sort of tornado of bubbles.
Oh, it's so cool!
Anyway, as you pour, tilt sideways so it isn't all head, and don't pour more than 2/3 full. Done.
Why? I want the
White
whole thing
wine.
full.
White wine is best served chilled too.
I think I just like cold stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's what puts me off from red wine because it's always like warm or like room temperature. And I don't know. I would rather it be cold.
10 to 15 degrees though, not fridge cold. Use a small glass bowl and pour to about half full. And when you drink, do a little sniff test.
Yeah,
and
smell it.
Aerate it a bit. Then hold it down low on the stem so your hands don't heat up the liquid. If it's not to your taste, cut it with 50% Sprite and add a few ice cubes.
Whoa.
Done. Reds. Red wine is not chilled. It is served at room temperature. When you
Strictly speaking, it's, cellar temperature. So it's more like 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, 61 to 64 degrees Fahrenheit for my American people. Also 4th of July is coming up, so happy America. But that's a bit nitpicky. Also, even more strictly speaking, there are distinctions by the types of red served. A Pinot Noir is served at 13 degrees Celsius, 55 degrees Fahrenheit, but almost nobody bothers. Yeah,
first open it, you're supposed to let it sit for a while to oxidize. That gives it more flavor.
It's
Although if you don't
bleeding.
want to wait, you can just pour it into a decanter. That does the same thing. To drink from, we want a big bowl on a stick.
Yeah.
So you get a full face of the aromas of the grape wine. When you pour the thing, fill it about 1/3 full.
Oh yeah, at my steakhouse we did a Texas pour because it was in Texas, so we filled that all the way up. Oh my god, I forgot this is a video. Does CT have to bleep that? I got way too into being Texas. I'm sorry.
That's pretty much it. However, when it comes to wine snobbery, red wine snobbery is at the top of the Maslow hierarchy.
Crushed white rock. It's like almost like a rock quarry.
Oh my god, shut up. And there's a taste testing thing that people do, and it'll go a bit mental, and it's kind of gross, and it looks dumb.
Yeah.
But if you think you're ready,
I think what it is it comes off as pretentious, and maybe it's not intended to be that way, but when you see someone like going like ham and like sensual with their wine glass, you're like, come on, man. Just drink it. Just drink
ready for the
it.
ultimate test? Ready to take the one-chip challenge of enology? Then here's how you do it. When the waiter comes over, insist on taking a teensy sample. Inspect for color, clarity, and legs. Legs refers to how viscous the wine is.
Oh. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? That viscosity is crazy.
Smell it. Smells like a red wine. Swirl it around on the table, making a loud scratching noise.
Yeah.
So that everyone knows you're a connoisseur.
Swirling the wine glass is almost like turning up the volume on the stereo.
When you taste it, you're supposed to get it over every part of your mouth.
Yeah, this is like way too much foreplay. Like if I order a Coke Zero, I just drink it.
So that when you brush your teeth later, it's awful. Then take in big sips of air. This is where you comment on the texture and taste.
Oh.
Complex notes. You yell across the room.
Deciduous
now, this is the best part.
floor.
You can just make shit up about vanilla smatterings or citrusy undercurrents. I swear, there's a hint of blueberry.
Still, my favorite was Deciduous Floor. We sold this one wine that had a duck on it, and it was like, you can taste the rainforest floor. Why do I want to eat leaves? I'm gonna be honest, that is not appealing to me at all. And I think there's also something about the barrels, right? They're like, you can taste like the oak or something.
It's one of those things that's kinda true, but subjective enough that no one can really refute you. So make a big show of it.
There is a little bit of an earthiness, almost a graphite flavor to this.
It's a little bit meaty. It's a little bit sort of rustic.
There are definitely hints here of
Every time I hear the word meat, I just have an image of Mr. Meaty in my head and I get re-traumatized. That is disgusting. Yeah, I'm getting quarter pounder with cheese. Huh?
of Monster Ultra sugar-free. If this is a taste test and you're sampling dozens of wines, you want to spit out the sample into this gross bucket.
Ew, wait, that's real? Oh, like Texas Roadhouse. If you're testing 100 bottles across the afternoon, then this makes a lot of sense. Okay, that does make sense, because if I had 100 glasses of wine, woo! Yeah, party at Barry's house, woohoo! Also, they often have, Twitch, don't ban me for reading that. They also have to chew or coffee beans to sniff as a sort of palate cleanse. Oh, sometimes there's also a separate dump bucket, ew, which is used for emptying the rest of the glass. I see.
So you don't get too drunk. Do not ask the waiter if you can drink from the bucket. It's the waiter's privilege, and he's very protective of it. And that is how to serve wine.
Wow!
Okay, that's a lot of shitting on wine, people.
And we shouldn't get bullied.
Yeah, I'm anti-bullying, yeah! I mean, I'm a VTuber. I should be anti-bullying. I'm a pretty big target. They're probably gonna stuff me in lockers at Evo.
But let me do a quick 180. Because overall, wine is good. And a little wine snobbery can be good also. Being into wine is one of the great dad hobbies.
Moms are
One
invited
day
too.
you will have a model train set in your basement, complete with a little walking path
is really
in the grass,
cool.
just right. The best part about this hobby is building the thing, getting it just perfect, and then making people sit there while you explain the little trains in
My mods have to deal with
detail
this.
of how they work. Now, the fun of Warhammer, that's when you save up for the little space marine man, you take him out of the packet, you put on a podcast with some Warhammer in the background,
Of all the Primarchs, Horus is the best kisser.
and you slowly paint it yourself.
I wanna
And then
paint
you
a
argue
figure
with your
on
mates
stream.
later about why the Necrophiles are the best race. There are people that spend like tens of thousands of dollars on coffee machines and equipment.
Honestly, this is a pretty base take. I agree with this. Honestly, people are allowed to be excited and happy about things. Like, you're allowed to kind of just like, your little pokes in, but remember that they're happy because they get to live their hobby every day. There's no such thing as cringe, to me at least, because I feel like people are just passionate, and if you're okay with being cringe, then that means you're based.
And then it
You
takes
don't
like
care
an
what
hour
people
to
think
make
about
the
you.
coffee, and it's like only 5% better, maybe, than the ones you get at the cafe. Now, I could be Mr. Killjoy and come in and go, what's the point of that? Why
He
not
plays
just buy it
Valorant?
from the cafe? Why not just get a pre-painted Space Marine? Why not have someone else just install the train set? But then there's no ceremony, there's no fun, there's no hobby. Wine is very similar. They're getting a little bit too obsessive about the thing and being like,
Some lemon zest as well, lemon pith.
What?
Super tangy.
is the purpose of wine. It's the fun of wine, which is
Yeah,
why
it's
wine
fan
is better
fiction.
than just some old grape juice. And you fucking wine loser snobs, you know what? You're all right.
Aww!
And that's about it.
He's
There's
back.
just one
After
last
credits.
thing left. The practical. Come on, my little nouveau biche. I booked out a whole restaurant. They serve some of the best blue whale caviar here. All right, you did it. You
Wait a
sat through
second.
the whole video without crying. I think this calls for a toast.
Yes!
Steady now.
Is he gonna hit me with it?
Whoop. Uh-oh. I can't believe you killed again. But it's okay. I feel like we're becoming close friends who can keep secrets and
I
stuff.
broke my arm.
And because we're such close friends, I'm gonna keep teaching you things. That's right. You're gonna be just like me. I just cannot tell which of this is blood and which wine. By the way, this is the second video. If you haven't seen the first one, which is on Fancy at the Theatre.
There's more fancy?
Go look at it over here. But there's also Fancy, the Arts on Incog.
Oh no, guys. I got made fun of enough for this, but I'll admit it, I went to art school. Oh no, that would be a bad video for me to watch.
Incognito, that's already live, and there's the next Incognito on its way. Do not forget story mode. Do not forget Incogni. And do not forget to dream.
Okay. Unfortunately, my arm is broken after a freak accident. I don't know what happened, but thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great night.